This is one of the labs inside the Kentville Agricultural Research Station. The Annapolis Valley in Nova Scotia has a long tradition of growing apples, but grape growing and wine production is a new industry in Nova Scotia, so the research station is trying to catch up with various projects aimed at helping the wine-growing pioneers.
We're looking at the winter hardiness of grapes. So, we're looking at things that affect winter hardiness and basically assessing the risk of growing different varieties. We know we can grow all the varieties that we're looking at here. We know we can grow them here in Nova Scotia, but assessing the risk that goes with growing them, so how vulnerable they might be.
As the industry progresses in Nova Scotia, growers and researchers are finding the best grape varieties for both the soil and the climate is both evolving and expanding.
So a lot of hybrids. You've probably heard of, well, you might have heard of, if you're in Nova Scotia, you've heard of Lac de Blanc. That's our main white hybrid. We grow a lot of whites. I think around 70% of the varieties we have here are whites. That's what we're becoming known for more. But we do grow vinifera as well. We grow the hardy ones, Chardonnay, Riesling, Pinot Noir, and a few others. Have been growing here for quite a few years now.
Climate and climate change, and how agriculture is responding to those changes, is being studied and tracked. And the change has been pretty remarkable.
There is no doubt the climate is warming here in Nova Scotia. We've been keeping data here at this station since 1911, so over 100 years of data. And those trends are all pointing up as far as temperatures. As far as grapes, no question, it means we have longer growing seasons here for grapes. And it means we have more mild winters, which means some of the grapes that we weren't able to grow here because of the winters here are now more possible. It's more heat units during the summer. I know even in the last 50 years we have something like 30 or 40% more heat units. This is a base 10 measure of how much heat we get over the growing season. It means a longer growing season, and by growing season I mean the days in between the last frost in the spring and the first frost in the fall. Back in the 40s and 50s, some of our growing seasons were only 3 months long. That means the last frost was early June. The first frost was in September sometime. Some of our growing seasons are now approaching 6 months at times, which never happened 50 years ago. So it's important to say it's extremely variable, though. We could have a cold summer at any time, as with a lot of regions, but the overall general trend is we're getting much longer growing seasons, much more heat in the summer, and far more mild winters.
So knowing what grapevines are best suited to a changing climate is part of the mandate at the research station. To that end, Dale Hebb has been studying bud hardiness, the ability of overwintering buds to withstand cold. He does this by carefully and deliberately killing off healthy buds.
So what we actually do to do bud hardiness is we go out and we'll harvest a cane from vines at various times throughout the winter so we can catch how it changes through the winter, because even though they're dormant, they are not, I don't know which word to use, stagnant. They don't do nothing for the winter. They're still living organisms over the winter, so they respond. So we're trying to catch how things progress through the winter. So we'll go out about every 2 weeks on a survey type test, and we'll bring back canes, sample canes from vineyards around the province. We bring those back, then we will clip off the actual fruit bud area off of those canes and put 4 or 5 of them in each one of these wells in here on this system. This system has a total of 9 Peltier plates on it. So we'll get a population of buds in there, and then we cover that up, stick it in a freezer that we can control the temperatures of, and we gradually bring the temperature down. And then at the temperature where the buds will actually freeze, during that phase change thing, there's a burst of energy given off. And so that burst of energy causes a slight temperature change. The Peltier plates, we're able to pick that up on the Peltier plates. We get the moment of death of a bud. We see when that flash of energy comes out of the bud, when it gives up that last gasp of energy to keep from freezing.
The health of the wine-growing industry in Nova Scotia depends on the health of the vines. and Dale and Harrison are working closely with the growers to find the best ways to protect and expand the fledgling industry.